Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and Godzilla Vs Kong is finally in theaters and on HBO Max. And I'm going to give you my non-spoiler review first here for the first few minutes. And since it's online streaming, a lot of you have already seen it. I will spend the second half talking about some spoilers in the film. But I'll give you a warning, so if you don't want to be spoiled, don't worry. I will give you that warning. But Godzilla vs. Kong, it's finally here. These two titans have gone head-to-head. Was it worth it? I'm going to tell you. But first, I want to plug my latest series. Guys, usually I post my movie reviews over on Movie World. It's my second channel where I only talk about movies. I try to talk about movies here on Popcorn Planet, but, man, YouTube doesn't let me. The drama overshadows it by far. Movie news and sort of outrage and stuff I do here, reacting to stories. I'm going to keep doing that because it gets me views and it pays the bills. But I want to start doing more movie content. So hopefully if you guys, enough of you guys go over there, I'd love to do that more often. And I post more movie reviews, but I just posted a new series with Godzilla 1998, best movie ever. If you guys haven't watched it yet, please go check it out. It's been getting a lot of good feedback from you guys. 96% rating. That's a good one for me. But we watched the worst movies, some of the worst movies, V and Vito, my friend of mine, and we have to tell you, we have to go in and declare it the best movie ever. We have to find the positive in these bad movies. So it's a very fun episode. I'll put it at the end of this so you can click it there at the end and remind you. But if you haven't yet subscribed over to Movie World and you like this kind of movie content, my reviews and commentary and older movie breakdowns and stuff, analysis, etc., that's the place to go. I'd love your support over there. All right, but let's get back to the movie, shall we? Godzilla vs. Kong is now available to stream on HBO Max. I watched it streaming this morning, sadly. I'm going to watch it, actually. I am going to go again and see it in theaters with my kids because they wanted to see it, but they were both at school and I needed to review this for you guys. But I'm going to go watch it again with them because I think this would be better in a theater. Definitely, the sequences are better, and some of the slow parts might be a little bit more easy to forgive if I wasn't sitting at home. And I'm like, all right, well, come on, get to the fight. Overall, look, this movie is so stupid. So stupid. But I say that with love because I still had fun with it. It's a fun, stupid movie. It's exactly what it's supposed to be, which is Godzilla versus Kong. Now, I think I would have preferred one more fight. The problem with these movies, again, I'm not going to spoil anything yet. The problem with these movies is it's hard to keep the fight going, which is what really would happen. In real life, if this actually happened, they would fight and either both kill themselves or one of them would die, right? But in the movies, you have to start round one. You have to have them fight and then try to write a justification for why the fight stops, and then they can fight again later. And that's what this film does. There's really 3 rounds ultimately as to who the victor is. And I would say it's pretty definitive. I'll break that down in my spoiler review. I'd say it's pretty definitive. I just don't want to spoil anything, but we'll talk about that in the second half of this video. Do I agree, and etc. Yeah, it's really 3 main fights that you get with the Godzilla versus Kong. And you've seen a lot of it, to be fair, but it's extended versions of what you've seen. Now, there's some more to the movie you don't know, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but overall, I would have probably enjoyed one more sequence. There's still a problem of a lot of the people, but I would argue once the fights happen, they wisely don't cut back to the people in peril all the time like they did in King of Monsters, which I think was a huge failure of the director's part. And this one, the director knows you want to see the battle, and so when they battle, you get to watch the battle. And he doesn't turn the lights off. He in Japan at night, it's at night, but he puts all the buildings with neon lights to add more light, which is a clever way for him to give you colored lights to help mask the CGI, because that's really why they do these in dark. Even here, the darker helps hide the CG features. So it's just an easier way for them to animate. So a red tint or a blue tint or purple tints as they're fighting in the finale really helps to sort of mask it. So I thought brighter and more cohesive what's actually happening, and the CGI is pretty damn good. Look, this is a stupid movie. So much of it doesn't make sense. I mean, guys, we could sit here all day and just talk about the physics of how this is impossible. There's literally a scene where Kong is jumping from aircraft carrier to aircraft carrier, and it's how would it sustain him? Come on. It makes no damn sense. Same with Godzilla. Also, I challenge the scale. Does it actually keep the whole movie? I don't know. It's confusing. However, this sequence, it's so stupid that this thing's not just crashing. But at the same time, I had a blast watching it. It's fun to watch these two go to head to head. How else do you make this movie? You just can't unless you throw that sort of sense out the window and just turn off your brain for a second to have some dumb monster fun is really what's going on in this movie. So if you can't turn off your dumb brain to enjoy some monster madness, you're not going to like this movie. Just be warned. And there is a lot of human stuff. It took about 40 minutes to get to this point, which to me was when the movie really picks up and you're like, yeah. The first 40 minutes is a lot of sort of explanation to try and justify why they brought these two together, and I think they could have cut it down. I think they could have cut that down. Look, that's the problem with these movies. You either want a lot of justification and monarch backstory and nonsense, or you don't, and I don't really care. So overall, yeah, look, I liked it. I want to talk a little bit more and get into spoilers, so I want to warn you guys now to tune out. In fact, I want to plug one more time. If you want to tune out and watch something instead, I'll put the iCard here to go check out Best Movie Ever. In fact, it'll be right here. So if you don't want to get spoiled and you want to go watch my next show, go check that out. I'd love your support. Go subscribe over there. Movie World, thank you so much. Okay. Hopefully got an ad break, too, while we're waiting. Now, let's talk spoilers, okay? So for those of you who watched the movie, now we can talk about it. Everyone has a chance to have seen the movie. Most of you probably already did already. Look, so obviously, spoiler, you've been warned, so obvious that Godzilla was coming. If you watched the last movie, you knew this was coming. So that finale was expected and so silly. So silly. I want to show it, but I don't want to get dinged by HBO Max. But that scene where they have the skull... and then the neon tubes that are justifying the psychic connection. Oh my God, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. But so is Mechagodzilla if you really think about it. So yeah, you got to just laugh. I'm saying how stupid it is with a smile. And to me, if you're going to be stupid, you better be saying it with a smile on your face. And I feel like that's ultimately what this movie is. It's just literally screaming over and over how stupid it is, but with a smile on his face, like, yeah, but right? Come on, right? But yeah, did you see that? That's the only way you can get away with this stuff. You can't make a serious movie here, but they try. Rebecca Hall and Skarsgård are trying their best. I would argue the whole Millie Bobby Brown subplot with the podcast guy and everything is so unnecessary. They did not need those three characters running around doing what they did to explain the bad guy's motivation. They could have just had the bad guy explain it and saved a lot of time. They just needed to have Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler back to sort of connect it to the other world. They're really sort of the loose connection along with finding the skull. I literally they're just there to keep the movie strung together, and I just wonder, did we need to do that? It's just added a lot of like Scooby-Doo hijinks that to me took away from the film. I like Millie Bobby Brown, but there's so many already conveniences in the movie of trying to like accept that this can happen, you know? And the fact that we just want to watch this. So watching Millie Bobby Brown and Julian Dennis and the podcast guy like go be all comic reliefy running around saying, I knew this was all happen. I didn't need it. I think it adds more, like the fact that they managed to just get to the finale and never get hurt or hurt. Like Mecha literally destroys everyone in the room but them. No other soldiers behind them or anybody else, just them. Maybe you could argue they ran away, I guess. But it's just like, it's so absurd to a point where you're just like, did we need more absurd? It's already absurd watching these two titans fight. So yeah, again, the human problems still are a problem. However, I liked the Rebecca Hall and the mute child, the deaf child, and Skarsgård. That was, if I'm going to follow the human plots, I preferred them and the villain over the other stuff. And so it was quick. Sort of, they're there to sort of justify Kong's story, explain Kong's story. And you know what? I was okay with that. That was fine for me. But overall, I would have loved a little bit more fighting. So let's talk about the fighting. So obviously in round one, it's pretty clear Godzilla destroys Kong. And I told Jody this in our fight. Who would win? I called it. Godzilla's just going to grab him and drown him in the water. Duh. That fight's over. Kong's in that world, over the ocean, Kong's dead. So, but again, elements there. In water, since Godzilla can breathe underwater, yeah, of course he's going to just grab him and drag him down in the water. He's too heavy. His claws are going to grab on and hold on tight enough to take him down, and they drown. And that's what happened. If it wasn't for the human assistance, Kong would have been dead there, clear as day. Then we go to round two. But again, my point is you have to justify the fight end so you can keep the movie going. So they throw some missiles down there to like distract Godzilla, and somehow that lets him go. And then Godzilla decides not to follow him. Again, stupid. Fine, we'll end it here just because the movie needs us to. And then we send Kong on that whole weird subplot into Alpha Earth or whatever the hell it was called, where there's a whole other Earth in the middle of our Earth, guys. Apparently in the core of our world, that's where the Titans live. It's so large that they can just live and frolic around with all the Titan size. The absurdity of that they not only that it's there and we know about it, but that we've built spaceships to go to it. It's just so funny to me and silly. Again, stupid, but with a smile on my face. So then you got that whole subplot, which could have been more interesting. You could have had a much better battle down there, and they chose not to. He fights a couple winged creatures, And that was it. And then it's just, oh wow, we're in a new world without much creature stuff. And then they're flying around, and he charges the axe and the charger. And then my favorite part of the movie, when literally Godzilla fire breaths into the core of the earth. Like, I'm not a science guy. I'm not that smart with science and everything. But I feel like that would have some big ramifications to, like, gravitational pull and, the planet. The fact that he just singed a hole into the center of the earth. But I guess it wasn't the center. It was the alpha core, which fuels... Anyway, that was absurd to me, which then gave us a reason for Kong to crawl out and then have our big fight at the end, because I kept wondering, all right, well, how are they going to... They make such a big deal of getting them through the tunnel and the gravitational pull. I was like, well, how the hell are they going to justify getting out after they've made this such a hard task? Oh, Godzilla just fire breathed the hole for them to crawl out of. Cool. That's the movie in a nutshell. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense. It can be completely stupid. But yeah, that's why. So suck it. And so anyway, that's what they do. And they fight. And look, the final fight, well, I guess there's two fights there. The first fight, it's clear. They sort of give Kong a win, where he gets the axe and hits him and knocks Godzilla out and sort of shakes it off. And it seems like, and they even say, like, looks like Kong got round two. I mean, sort of, yeah. Godzilla's not down. And then in part 3, it's very clear who wins. In part 3, it's very clear. In fact, I'm going to show that one part just so there's no debate. It's very clear in round 3 that Godzilla is allowing Kong, because his fire breath turns off. He basically hits him, and then he basically is acknowledging, like, I'm gonna let you live. Like, it's because the fire breath doesn't work. They sort of do this amazing screaming contest, which is to me the best part of the movie. And then it's very clear Godzilla's like, all right, fine, I'll let you go. I don't have my fire breath. Fine, you were a worthy opponent. Fine. And then he lets go of him and, like, I'll leave you here. It's clear you're dying. See ya. And so it's clear there Godzilla won. And then if it's not clear enough, we have, Kong's just like, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get, no, wait. I'm still got it in me. I'm coming back for you, Godzilla. No, I'm dead. It's very clear who wins. Godzilla won. Now, that said, in the scope of the movie, yeah, it kind of made sense. It made sense. However, I'm Team Kong, baby. Team Kong all day long. They made it because of the girl and everything else. Kong is the star of this movie. But without a doubt, Kong is the star of this movie. They don't really give Godzilla much to do except for, noise brought me out. I'm now me evil. Don't care. I got to stop that. Okay, cool. Godzilla does nothing else. Kong's got a little bit more human traits to him and stuff. You can tell that Kong would be the Earth's protector in a way. I love this. This scene is just ridiculous. Anyway, it was just playing. I can't even. How does that make any damn sense? It doesn't. But I still had fun with it. Now that said, it's clear Godzilla wins. That's who won. Do I feel like that was warranted? Yes. I mean, in the boat alone, he would have destroyed him. And then without that weapon, he wouldn't have had a shot. Kong's only shot was the weapon. Sure, he's more nimble and has the agile hands and everything, but no. Ultimately, Godzilla's just a thick beast with fire breath that's going to eventually just tear him apart. And so he got lucky in that second shot, I feel like. So it was very clear in the movie Godzilla's the stronger of the two. But Kong's a worthy opponent. So with Kong, clearly anybody who knows or ever watches movies knows, okay, Kong's out but not dead. And then, yeah, we have this moment here where it's like, what's happening? Yep, Mechazilla's back. And somehow Mechazilla just takes over the robot, and now we have a real Mechazilla, which is, guys, the fact that there's a Mechazilla in this movie just proves how stupid this movie is. It doesn't make any, how did they build this? It just turned into Pacific Rim. How would you have there's so many questions as to why, and why'd you build it like a dinosaur? Everything about it's just weird. So they have a transformer at the end for the finale, and ultimately that scene, that was the most CGI. Again, in the daylight scene, thankfully put in the daylight, but again, just at that point, I was like, of course, okay, whatever. It just becomes a by the number scene, but it was fun to see Kong beat him. At the end where Kong's like, rah, and rips the head off of it. That was a fun sequence. Overall, I got to say, look, it's dumb fun because they could have trimmed some parts out, as I said. Didn't need the Millie Bobby Brown plot. Just you didn't need it. There's a lot of that opening stuff. Just get to it a little faster. The whole Alpha Earth, if you're going to go to the middle of Alpha Earth and talk about meeting the family or other beasts like him, you got to give us an even cooler sequence. That should have been a much bigger moment in the film, and it just felt like they saved all the money for the finale and the aircraft carrier scene, and then they just didn't have as much to do a long, huge sequence there. And that's really what the film really needed in the middle, I think, to really sell it at the end. But ultimately, yeah, it's fine. Now, one quick exclusive here. I can confirm there was a post-credit scene that was in test screenings. I know this for a fact, and they cut it. The post-credit scene was going to allude to what the next movie was going to be about. So would you like to hear about that? Did you get the ad? Let me know. But I can confirm Godzilla and Kong end scene was going to involve a alert came down and warned of extraterrestrial invasion. Aliens are coming. They're coming to invade Earth. Cut. So they were going to imply that the sequel to this would involve Kong, I guess, and Godzilla having coming back to try and defend Earth from an invasion against extraterrestrial sources. What those are, how they are, who knows? But that's how silly this movie is clearly going to go. I mean, where do you go? You've made Mecha Godzilla. You've done the Kong versus Godzilla, sort of a quadrilogy, if you will, if you count Skull Island. So there's 4 films of this series. If you do a 5th balls to the wall crazy aliens versus Godzilla and stuff, and maybe that you got one more in you, but I don't know where else you go with this movie. How many times can we watch Godzilla? Oh, I'm misunderstood. I've saved the world. You know, I never understood how they made so many Godzillas, to be perfectly honest, too. They've made a lot of versions and like updates and things, but overall, it sounds like I'm not into it. I liked it, but it's so stupid. It's so stupid, and I implore you to tell me otherwise in the comments down below. In fact, if you haven't yet subscribed, please go hit that subscribe button, smash that bell for all alerts, hit the like, and tell me what your favorite part was. What did you think? Do you agree with me that it's stupid? Because, guys, I hate to break it to you. It is. And meanwhile, please check out my new show, Movie World, best movie ever, over on my new channel, Movie World. Hit that subscribe if you can. Trying to get some more people. If you like my movie content, my reviews, etc., that's the place to go. In fact, I'm going to put it right there. You can click on it and watch that next. Tell me what you thought of this movie in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on Popcorn Planet.
Let them fight.